Monday, the 16th of August, 2021. And of course, it's been a rainy weekend and it's also a rainy day today. I am Mohamed Jawad Nyale. Now, this morning in the show, why tap to me Don Bokuna Salon? We will talk about this as Save the Children, the reports, they highlight this and many other issues that we surround child marriage in itself. This is not the Epic Morning Show, and it's you, it's me. I get Dr. Modu Petayo, the project director for Save the Children. And good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
All right, and also get Aminata Kamaru, a gender specialist. Good morning, Aminata.
Good morning.
All right, so let me start with Doctor. Tell me a bit about the background of this particular study that Una do.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, listeners. So this study was initiated. It was a baseline survey that was to help us understand the situation analysis of a project that we wanted to implement. So this project is called My Body, My Decision, My Rights. It was a project that is meant to reduce child early and forced marriage and incidences of teenage pregnancy in Sierra Leone and in Burkina Faso. And this project is being funded by the government of Canada, so from the Global Affairs Canada, that's our funder. So in a bid for us to understand the current situation of child marriage rates, incidences of teenage pregnancy, and also to understand the kind of strategies and approaches we're going to use to address these issues, we launched this research. And so we had three different kinds of research. We had a full-blown baseline study that used both qualitative and quantitative approaches, methods. We also did a gender analysis. The gender analysis was actually to help us understand the gender landscape. How do people perceive gender equality, what they do currently, and how we will be able to design approaches to address the inequalities that exist. We also did a girls' vulnerability study. The vulnerability studies helped us to understand what are those indicators that increases the vulnerability of girls to go into child marriage and to get pregnant. So those were the three kinds of research that were conducted. And we feel that it's actually a landmark research that it was essential for us to tell the world what we have found and to use that to design our strategies to address the issues.
All right. And whilst we are at this now and looking specifically at the reports, one of the highlights for me was that 33% of families in this country have at least one daughter who is married, who is underage, according to the report. Why is this figure so high? Are there underlying reasons for this?
So I don't think the figures are exceptionally high, because if you look at in 2018, UNICEF also conducted a similar study, and they actually found 39% of girls who are already married. So it only just shows the trend of what is happening, and it also aligns with the fact that Sierra Leone occupies the 18th position in the world where child marriage exists. So all of these studies are just showing an alignment and showing this, similar occurrence and concurrence. We know that one of the reasons we have found is that teenage pregnancy is quite high, very high among adolescents. And of course, if there are no opportunities for adolescents in Sierra Leone to learn about what causes teenage pregnancy and how they can prevent teenage pregnancy, obviously we're going to be having these issues on our hand. In the schools as we speak, there is no comprehensive sexuality education. Not in any place, maybe some, spots of avenues where people just provide information, but it's not comprehensive, it's not inclusive. Boys and girls in Sierra Leone are not fully aware. And then access to family planning services or contraceptives in the health facilities are also not made available to adolescents in most communities. The providers there are also not trained to understand the needs of adolescents, because the way you attend to an adult is different from the way you attend to an adolescent. There are specific skills and competencies that is required for a service provider, a health service provider, to actually meet the needs of adolescents. So if all these are lacking, obviously the adolescent would not even be confident enough to come to the health facility to seek for services. Because again, our African culture of you're too small to be using contraceptives. What do you want to do with it? And discussions around sex is still a taboo. We're ashamed to discuss this in the public. So all of this, because we put them under cover, we hide them. Children must not know. They must not learn about this. So they want to explore. They want to find out what is it that the adults are keeping. What are they hiding? So they want to explore. And when they try to explore, then they do it the wrong way.
Now, Aminata, a lot of the time, when we talk about sex education, we now one of the causes, we now one of the things that we're missing here. The one that would bear the brunt of the consequence now, woman. Them. Is this something we will also take into consideration while it's when they do this study?
Yes, this is something that we considered very seriously when we were doing the study. So, regardless of the fact that we are targeting adolescents, but also, like you said, it is also an issue when it comes to women. So many a times, because they lack the knowledge of how they should go about to protecting themselves on getting early pregnancies or controlling their sexual rights in terms of, or reproductive rights in terms of how many babies do I need to get, or how many babies do I need to take care of. So all of those issues, it's lacking, not only for adolescents, but even adult women, married women, many a times do not have that decision to say, for me, I only want two kids or three kids. So, and because of the fear again of them, accessing or getting reproductive health services, because many a times they also need the consent of their spouses to be able to enable them to get these services. So again, is another factor that also denies them their own reproductive right to determine how many kids they should have. So it's also considered.
So going forward now, knowing this kind of thing, una advocacy get for focus on sex education. Is there a direction we get for lead to that?
Yes, the study just help we for know more and for inform we projects we they do. Yeah, so definitely it get for inform that one day, because if we don't discover now, say all of the issues there, so they bring challenge to the woman them, to the picking them, for let them able for access, then we get for taking it very seriously. We get for get different approach them where we get for use for ensure say the community they well informed about the issues there, so and help we also for put them and help we also for mount up the campaign, say no, I get a right for determine the number of picking them where I forget, I get the right for say no to this, I get the right for say so all of that. And we they work with different structures then follow able for get through that. We they work with the religious and traditional leaders, because they are very, very significant when it comes to child marriage and all of that. And the report also, it came out clearly that some religious leaders, some traditional leaders do participate in child marriage, regardless of the fact that there are laws, there are policies around child marriage. Yet it is being practiced in some other communities where this study was done. So again, that's why this project looking at those category of persons, the religious and traditional leaders, the women and girls group, the existing women and girls groups in those communities. We're also working with them, and we're also getting gender champions that will help us to promote gender equality and women's and girls' rights in those communities where we're operating.
So, what do you think, say, doctor? There's a perception that it's right. I mean, it's normal almost.
Absolutely.
It's common.
Yeah.
How do you think people can break through that imagination and start for do the right things?
Yes, so there are processes to that. I know that behaviors are a bit difficult to change, but we're working to empower the girls in particular. So in all the 30 communities where we're working in the two districts, Western Rural and Kailaon, those are the two districts where we're implementing this project. So we're working also in 30 communities. We are going to empower adolescent boys and girls over 6-month period, training them, mentoring them on a weekly basis, providing series of content and sessions that talks about assertiveness, decision making, goal setting, so life skills, building sessions with them, and then some form of empowerment around financial literacy. We're also going to do some support around village loan scheme, particularly for the married ones and their husbands. So we're putting together all this content for us to be able to build the adolescent themselves. And when the adolescents are built and they are capacitated, they're able to take this informed decision for themselves. So even the issue of teenage pregnancy, because we know that it is teenage pregnancy that is preceding the tap to me. If we are able to halt the incidences of teenage pregnancy, we're likely to also halt tap to me to an extent, and also possibly child marriage. So that's where we're starting with the people who are actually in the center of this issue, the adolescent themselves. Let them understand that they have the right to take ownership of their lives and build their future.
Yes.
Sorry. Yes. So for me, you the texter, they say girls, they make life uncomfortable for their parents. I think now it's way approach, because there are parents will not open up to them picking them. Some parents say, as the picking say, I don't panic. So that space now they for let the picky able for talk to the parents. That space now they for let the picky able for actually explain what it they go through to a parent. Some parents as speaking go say, hey, mommy, I want for talk to you. Left me busy. So so all of that need for we get for communicate that to the parents and say it's high time we open up with space for we able for talk to we picking them. It's high time we able for get discussion there on the picking the reproductive right, and make them very open, because the more we feel say them picking and don't know them thing they are, so forgetting the fact that them picking they relate with them peers, that they go then school them where they discuss a whole lot of peer pressure thing, like just summarize that. Peer pressure thing, they influence them picking their answer. So if you the parents are able to forget that free communication with your picking, una not able for discuss them thing, and they una go always go get issues. But if the parents able for know say, this me picking, he need for know this before somebody else outside go tell him, because when he gets an outside, he gets a wrong information. But you knowing the information, you knowing the effect, you knowing the consequences, you go able for engage your picking, say, at this age, if you involve into this is what is going to happen to you. So let's see how best we can manage the situation and get you into some protective stuff for ensure so you not get this early pregnancy. Yes, many a times parents they get discouraged over them picking them. Again, when you picking don't get pregnant, the picking don't know, they don't understand in body, they don't understand the waiting it don't go into. So if you as parents decide for push that picking, you send her into more risks. So the the parents and caregivers, and for ensure say let them not push the picking into more risks.
Yeah.
The interesting part of that discussion you said, Doc, is the fact that after that exercise, you have there were immediate transformation.
Absolutely.
You have some guys who participated in that activity who said some of the things I've been doing, I didn't know that it was going to affect my wife this way or my partner this way. So they felt the need that, okay, I think it's high time I start to talk to my wife, or I change some of these behaviors. It came out boldly from them. So you see how those discussions help those men to realize that some of these things that they are doing, some of their behaviors towards their wives or their children, to some extent it's appalling, and they realize it and they said, okay, I think it's high time we move from this point. So those engagements, if we continue with those engagements, there will definitely be a change in those communities.
What would you say to families who at the moment are going through some difficult dilemma, either them picking on get belle, or even if they're picking on get belle, but then they're afraid for talk to them about sex, especially girl picking them?
So the world in which we are in now in this current situation in which we are in now, no parent needs to be timid anymore. Whether you tell them or you do not tell them, they are going to know. Would you rather that they know the wrong information, or you speak to them by themselves, by yourself, and get them to have the right information? So I would encourage that parents should start providing the correct information to their children before they go and pick the wrong information and get into the wrong things earlier. So no parent should be timid. No parent should be see talking about sex as a taboo. It's not a taboo anywhere.
All right. Thank you very much for talking to us, you two. Dr. Modupe Taiwana, the project director for Save the Children, and Aminata Kamaruna, gender specialist as well from Save the Children. This is the Epic Morning Show.